There was always alcohol in the house, and everyone in the family would drink, but nobody abused alcohol. I guess that was the first time that I was exposed to drug use, was through alcohol. Then when I got into high school and college, there were people who were doing acid, and they were smoking pot, and they were also doing ecstasy and cocaine too. And I would do it occasionally with them if someone offered it to me. And it wasn't until I was an adult out of school living in New York where I really started serious drug use, because there were I was trying to make it in the music business, and a lot of people in that culture were using drugs, and that's how I really got introduced to hard drugs. My drug of choice was heroin, although I also used a lot of cocaine and whatever I got my hands on, basically, but my main drug was heroin. I would use acid occasionally on special occasions with my friends just to have an experience, and ecstasy occasionally. But when I was in New York, I was introduced to heroin, and it seemed harmless, and it wasn't harmless. In the beginning, the experience was really great, but it's a case of ever diminishing returns. And when I used drugs, I felt like I had more confidence and I had the ability to deal with them. And without drugs, I felt inadequate. But at a certain point, they stop working and you're addicted. And pretty soon I had to abandon all my goals, and I had to have drugs just to even get out of bed in the morning. I don't regret becoming a drug addict or my drug experience at this point in my life, because what happened, as awful as it was, it brought me to a bottom. And a lot of people have this experience when they reach a crisis in their life. It's a turning point. And so that was the catalyst for totally changing my life, was hitting a bottom with my drug use. My life had gotten to the point where it was completely unmanageable. I was deeply in debt. I was barely holding on to my job. My health was shot. I had pretty much wrecked all my relationships with people. I had stopped washing my clothes. I'd stopped washing myself. And one night I was trying to scrounge up $20 to go cop, and I had started to steal money from work and from my friends, and I was rummaging around in my friend's drawer looking for money, and I had what you call a moment of clarity, when I realized that even if I found the money and stole it from her, it would not be nearly enough. And I suddenly saw how utterly powerless I was over my addiction, and at that moment I gave up, and I prayed for help. And within a week, through no decision or effort or anything of my own, I ended up in a rehab. I don't feel like I overcame my addiction. I saw that it was out of control and that it was beyond the power of my will, and I asked for help, and I got help. If I hadn't stopped using drugs, I'm sure that I would be dead by now. I have a lot of friends who died of drug addiction, from overdoses and heart failure and AIDS, and a lot of them, I know some of my friends became prostitutes and died, and nobody lasts that long. If they live an life of active addiction, I would be dead. I never pictured myself being a drug addict. I never wanted to be a drug addict. I thought drug addicts were pathetic losers, and I had no attraction to that. And yet, that's what happened to me.